believe you're just attacking him.
I can attack who I want to attack. If I want
He's not the same character in every movie.
Michael B. Jordan is the same character in every movie. Every movie, he's the same character.
So Samuel L. Jackson, none of us get on him.
But Samuel L. Jackson is that motherfucker. He is.
Denzel Washington's about that the same character in every movie. Even when he was Malcolm X, he was the same Denzel Washington.
Oh, you know what? Ooh.
You jumping in between the Hurricane and Denzel and Malcolm X and Denzel performances, and I'll tell you, that's the exact same dude. The only time he may have been different was in Flight, when he was drunk. The entire movie.
Welcome, everybody, to the Without Remorse episode of the Sharpshooters Wrestling Podcast. I'm Eric.
What? I walk alone in a pit of danger.
Marcus, you got anything?
I was waiting for man to say his name.
No,
He didn't say
his name is I walk alone in a pit of danger. That's what he is.
His full name. And I'm Marcus, the grand finale. Yeah!
I apologize to whoever was
walk alone.
when we were live on the show. I don't know how you guys got the random Michael B. Jordan argument, but it happened, and Marcus made some blasphemous things about Denzel Washington, and then El Luchador is already in the chat, and he said the name of Eric's faction is Dilligaff Squad. Do I look like I give a fuck squad? And I agree. That would be a good name for my squad, because I literally don't give a fuck. How are you guys doing on this fucking day?
Correction, but you do, Eric. Because remember that time on the show when that guy was chatting all his bullshit in the chat, and then you had to ask Marcus a long question to distract Marcus, so Marcus would carry on talking for long periods of time just so you could type your hate.
But Manny, let's point out, what's more enjoyable? Me doing that or Marcus falling for the trap? Because I think Marcus falling for the trap is the best thing ever. Because Manny can see what was going on.
Not. How dare you?
And I also want to point out today that there's a spelling mistake in today's thumbnail. I did not create today's thumbnail. It got proofread by Eric, who sanctioned it as well.
Manny, there is no spelling mistake in today's thing. I fixed it.
Did you?
I did. I fixed it.
It's still there.
Where is...
No, it's not.
Ah!
No,
It is a spelling mistake in that thumbnail.
Wait.
Did you just realize?
Wait, did I? Oh shit! Did I do that? I hope I didn't do that. I'll be really upset.
Yeah, wrestling's got 2 R's now because that's how R-rated it's become.
Oh, is it because people say shit?
Well, you know what? That's the beauty of thumbnails. You know, you can always change them at any given time.
Oh no, I fixed the thumbnail. The one I uploaded is the right one. Damn it, it's the right one. It's the right one, baby. So Marcus, how are you doing today? Since you're on the,
I'm fantastic. And you know what, Eric? I want to say I feel just as good as Michael B. Jordan would on a Saturday morning.
Okay. Manny, how do you feel this morning? Or this afternoon for you?
Hold on, Manny. I'm gonna ask the question, I guess, after you. What version of Michael B. Jordan are you today?
Me. I'm the young Michael B. Jordan in Friday Night Lights, which nobody remembers because nobody gives that show credit.
Well, you know, since we're going to be on this Michael B. Jordan kick, I think Shantae also was watching Red Tails, and she found out that Michael B. Jordan was also in Red Tails, and she was shocked by that. But Marcus, because you want to ask what Michael B. Jordan mood I'm in today, I'm in the Killmonger mode. I'm trying to wreck everything on this show, Marcus. That's what mode I'm in.
Well, I'm gonna be the Michael B. Jordan that knows he's a part of a disaster. I'm in Fantastic Four, Michael B. Jordan.
Ooh. Wow, nice way to take a shot at this show.
Not fire.
And also, gentlemen, what a week in professional wrestling. What a week. I'm not going to acknowledge what took place on Monday night because wrestling didn't start until Tuesday night. Tuesday night is when the business picked up.
That wasn't subtle at all. We had a talk last night. I was like, hey, you don't really have to cover Raw if you don't want to. No one's going to miss it if you don't do it. He was like, I'm going to subtly do the show, and if anybody brings up a question about Raw, I'll bring up Raw. But no, you blatantly come out on this show and say, guys, we are not covering Monday Night Raw.
Yes, I'm throwing tomatoes at that episode of Raw because, Marcus, I learned this week that my way of watching wrestling, where I watch NXT, then I watch AEW, and then I watch Raw, does not work. Because when I watch two superior products to one, I can't sit through Monday Night Raw. And far be it for me to say that SmackDown is by far the best product for me. It is my show of the week. It is what I enjoy. Manny, what was your favorite show this week?
It was Friday Night SmackDown. But like, even when Friday Night SmackDown hits, it already feels different to Raw. Like, Raw has this weird atmosphere immediately when you watch it. It's just like, oh fuck, I've got to watch this. Whereas like when you got SmackDown on, not only am I watching it on a Saturday, but like it just feels like I ain't got the weight of the world watching on this.
Marcus, what about you? What was your favorite show this week?
I'm gonna go with I'm more about the simpler times, and I go with the simpler things, and I'm going with NXT. And just a lot of their vignettes and interviews, and the matches were solid. Some upsets. So that was the solid show. It's consistently the best wrestling show in the world.
I think
more than any of these other shows.
I think
SmackDown, a lot of it was a repeat.
No, I think it's evidence that the WWE writers can sit down and write a sensible show. I asked you earlier in the week, Marcus, what is wrong with Monday Night Raw? Is that extra hour really just throwing off the common sense of the creators and the writers in that room? Do you think that's the case?
I have no idea what's going on Raw. It seems like WWE can produce a good show on every single show they have, whether it's SmackDown, 205 Live, NXT UK, NXT. But then when you get to Raw, you just go like, even Talking Smack is a solid show. But when you get to Raw, you just feel like it's lost.
Raw Talk is better than Raw in itself.
Yes. Raw just seems lost. It seems like that child that just can't get right. And you're like, damn, you've been arrested again. What did you do?
Marcus,
I didn't do nothing.
Marcus, I think you brought up a good point because you said it seems like a child that got lost. Manny, I'm going to ask you this question. Do you feel like Monday Night Raw lacks a level of maturity? Because I think it's a lot of sophomore humor where it doesn't feel authentic like NXT and Friday Night SmackDown does.
Well, with NXT and SmackDown, it is a PG show, but it doesn't feel like a PG show. You know what I mean? Do you know what I mean when I say that? Because like Raw definitely just feels like it's targeted to kids, and it doesn't make sense. And it's very miss all the time. I was gonna say hit or miss. It's never hit.
I mean,
it rarely hits.
I don't know if anybody will understand this analogy that I'm going to give, but I feel like Monday Night Raw is like a stand-up comedian that's trying to cut his teeth in the local low-level clubs before they get to that big level, because they have all these comedy skits that just fall flat. Like, for example, the one thing, this is where I said I'm going to stop watching Monday Night Raw, and this was with The Miz, Elias, and they threw the tomatoes, and I was like, do we really, in 2021, where we've had a pandemic, people are starving, do we really need to see tomatoes being wasted by be thrown at people?
That's a bit dramatic.
That's a whole festival in Spain, though.
Yes, I mean, but it's entertaining.
I like the fact that one of them clocked The Miz so good in the face.
Hold on. Have you ever had tomatoes thrown at you, Eric?
No.
Let me tell you, that shit burns. That shit burns. As a child, me, Ryan, and our cousin, who has an OnlyFans, Troy, threw tomatoes at each other.
This is the third time. This is the third time you brought it up this week.
Maybe we can get his traction, Manny. Maybe we get that.
Marcus, we don't have the audience that he has. They're not watching this, Marcus.
I don't care. And we get a fraction of his audience to tune in and watch wrestling. I'm sure there's somebody out there.
And maybe that Manscaped deal may come to festival.
Let me tell you guys, El Luchador says he has been to that festival. And that sounds like a very, he also ran with the Bulls. That's quite impressive, man. You've lived a life, El Luchador. I'm glad that you could be here.
Did you mess with the ball and did you get the horn?
Where did you stand in the room of the Bulls? I always question where people standing at. If you're at the very end, I'm like a mile away. Oh my god! Oh my god!
You know where I
And then you
stand at,
jump off the
Marcus?
wall.
I stand at my
I'm
damn
standing on the
house.
balcony and throwing shit.
I just want to look down on people who was in the run of the Bulls and see them get the horns.
Of all the festivals that I would want to attend, it would not be the Run of the Bulls. It would not be the throwing of the tomatoes. I would like to go to the Holly Festival. I think throwing the colored powder at people seems a lot of fun to me. That's what I would like to do.
You don't want to go down the Tumbling Hill Festival or with the cheese?
No, Margaret. I'm sorry, you're Wisconsin's natives. I cannot do that in my life.
But you know what? I didn't. But you know, as we was talking about this tomato throwing, I didn't hate that segment as much as I thought I would. It's just that Raw is a drag with that segment in
Marcus,
it.
Marcus, I had this conversation with you, and I told you, and I'm going to point my pen at you, and I told you how much I hated that segment. You was like, man, it gets worse from there. And I was like,
I got being
I was like, I can't. Well, first of all, you know, I knew Raw was in it. I was having a hard time with Raw when T-Bar and Mace cut their promo. And T-Bar was talking, and the way that Mace looked in the back, I'm like, Mace is taking away all the credibility from T-Bar and all the words because he just kept blinking and twitching like he had. I was like, what is wrong with you, man? This is like, stop. You were Dio Madden until Brock Lesnar punked you. Stop being this.
That's what happens. You see what happens? You see what happens when you mess with the beast incarnate? Huh? You see what happens? You get a twitch in your eye. All right? Twitch real quick. Never know what's going to happen.
It's basically how America bombed the masculinity out of Japan. How they're repping Hello Kitty these days and Pokemon. That's basically what Brock Lesnar did to Dio Madden.
Yeah, that's what happened. It's like, man lost all semblance of who he was. But someone who knows who he is
be a man.
is the big dog, the head of the table, the tribal chief. Roman Reigns is the man of the hour. He is the man who said that he was sick of seeing Daniel Bryan's face, so he challenged him to a match that he fought on SmackDown. The last time they had a SmackDown championship match was in December, according to the stats. And for me, this was a main event feel. It felt great. Manny, what did you think of the match?
Match was great. But Eric, the real question is, that music, though, that entrance music, what did you think of it?
I enjoyed it because the first thing I said when the first riff hit, I was like, oh shit, he got new music. I was like, and it was like for me, I'm like, I don't know. It was weird for me for them to debut new music for Roman on a SmackDown episode when we all thought that he was going to get new music at WrestleMania. But I think it's also a very smart thing because it gives that legitimacy of how important Friday Night SmackDown is. Marcus, what about you? Roman's new music. Did you like it?
Yeah, I liked it. I thought it was a cross between the Shield music, Seth Rollins music, and several other people's music. Like it was a mix of it seemed like it had a nice filter of everybody's music in there.
So I wrote in the mid-card mess, to me, it sounded like a ringtone version from the early 2000s of Justin Timberlake, Cry Me a River.
Really?
Yeah, and then...
we should take time to really analyze this as true music.
Yes, I should.
Sommeliers.
And then Raphael put... he thought it was Nas. You Can Hate Me.
You Can Hate Me Now. Well, but You Can Hate Me Now sounds a lot better because it would be very... thing, but since I like the trend to go over and things. So who got the better music? We got Roman. We got Roman with new music. We have the Dirty Dogs with new music, and then
would you necessarily call that new music?
And then we have Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly with new music. Based on Kyle O'Reilly's outfits, he cannot get the award. So I'm giving it to Roman. Who are you giving it to, Marcus?
The disrespect for Cool Kyle. How dare you?
I'm disrespecting that man.
Although Cool Kyle lasted 1 week. He was Big Foley Kyle this week.
Although Cool Kyle is the first man to actually watch backstage television correctly. And for that, I have to give an applause to that because no one needs to watch TV like this. No one looks at it like that.
You mean like this?
Yeah. So Manny, back to it. What did you enjoy about the Daniel Bryan versus Roman Reigns match?
Because you didn't know. Like, deep down you thought, do you know what? Roman is probably going to win this. But, like, there was a small hint in the back of your mind going, Daniel Bryan could win this, and it was just the way it was done. It was perfect way they just let Daniel Bryan off of SmackDown, where he's gonna pursue his career on 205 Live.
So I mean, I would agree with you. I felt that the match had a good weight to it.
India.
This match felt important, and it was moments where you were like, "Shit, I think Roman may lose." Marcus, what did you take away from Roman and Daniel Bryan?
Well, I never had a doubt that Roman was losing this match. Especially when the music hit and the way it was built up all night, I had no inkling that Daniel Bryan was winning tonight, considering all the back noise clutter that filled this match with Daniel Bryan talking about, I don't know if what I'm doing in my life anymore. And I didn't feel like I should be in the main event and all this stuff that's going on, his contract's coming up. You kind of just didn't have that feeling that he was going to lose. It was a tremendous match either way, though. And I was happy that Roman won clean, no help from Jey Uso or even Paul. Although I thought Paul did a trip up of Daniel Bryan. Excuse me. But other than that, I thought it was a overall really good match. I was really entertained by it. It's just that the outcome seemed inevitable. Like Roman was winning.
What I liked about the match, it had a nice psychology to it because the announcers really pointed out the fact that Daniel Bryan was focusing on Roman's dominant arm. And so when the match ended with Roman choking Daniel Bryan out with the arm that was not hurt, it made it even seem more powerful of how strong Roman is. Like, you know what? You took out my good arm, but I'm still going to beat you with my bad arm. I mean, they gave Daniel a lot of kickouts, and like this was a clean match. It was no smoke and mirrors, no AEW run-ins with Sting or the FTW crew. It was just straight up Roman versus Daniel Bryan, and the first time we saw somebody run in was Cesaro afterwards. Manny, did you like that it was no interference in this match?
Well, no, you can't say the first time you saw somebody run in was Cesaro. Oh, wait, he was after.
Yes.
Yeah, Jay came after him. Yep.
Let me go back to my question with Manny, Marcus. Stop interrupting. Go ahead, man.
Yeah, it was actually good to see a main event without any bullshit. Like, I don't mind the bullshit at the end. Let me get a finish. And that's what we got. We got a solid match, and it was a good way to send off Daniel Bryan.
And then, go ahead. You still got
to... If this is happens to be his last match on SmackDown or whatever in the main picture, it's a good way to go out. But I know they're gonna have things for him down the line, and we just don't know where he's gonna end up.
Well, you don't think he's leaving?
Nah.
Well, you don't think that he showed desire to go to different brands and wrestle for different indie companies, and he wants to do WWE and other places, which WWE I don't think will allow ever.
Marcus, do MLW, but they now
Marcus, let me keep my track of my show, my mind of thought. Marcus, my question for you.
You couldn't even get that sentence out.
I couldn't. This match started at our time. It started at the 6:30 mark. So we got almost a 30-minute main event on SmackDown yesterday. Would you like to see that style of wrestling where we get a long main event to continue on WWE programming?
Well, yeah. Why would I be against anything like that? I wish they incorporate this to Raw and just build to like 3 or 4 matches a show and build toward one match or an hour or something like that. But yeah, I'm for it. It felt more like a sporting event in which you were just waiting for the main event and you saw the 2 combatants in the back. Everybody said their piece. You had Heyman cut the promo before there. It gave it that big match feel that everybody was waiting for this match tonight. And throughout the night, you had the people doing their promos, talking about, I'm picking this person. I was really amazed by Baron Corbin being the last person they showed, though. I don't understand why he showed up. You mean
Cool Baron Corbin? He looked like he went to Cool Kyle classes.
Baron Corbin. Like they got him on his vacation. Like y'all got me on vacation in the back here, talking about who gonna win this match.
You mean I got to FaceTime? What do you mean I got a FaceTime about the main event? I don't care.
So am I in it? I'm not in it. Why would I care?
So with Roman defeating Daniel Bryan, that of course means that Daniel Bryan is banished from the SmackDown realm. Manny, going forward, where would you like to see Daniel Bryan go, and what do you think is actually going to happen to Daniel Bryan?
Well, so I read something that his neck, he's done an interview where his neck is wrecked. He used the word wrecked. So I'm presuming this is the time he becomes part-time, takes time off, and maybe he just kicks it around NXT, around the Performance Center. He doesn't do any more wrestling. He just is a helping hand, is what I foresee for him. Maybe he has the occasional match in NXT with the younger talent. I don't see him going to Raw. There's not him going to Raw would not even improve that situation.
Marcus, what about you? You've been the longest Daniel Bryan fan. I know you were a fan of him when he was Bryan Danielson. Where would you like to see him go in the future?
What I would like to see him do, you know what? This would be a nice send-off, him hanging up, and he could become a full-time / booker or agent, which he's been, was doing a lot of lately in the back, according to, sources close to people, whoever those are. But he's been helping out with a lot of backstage stuff. So I would like to see him do that. But if, and I mean if, he were to remain in the industry, I would like to see him, tour certain brands. I wouldn't like him to stick in one brand. I like seeing him, have certain matchups, nothing crazy, so he doesn't re-injure himself. But maybe I know he wouldn't go to make a tour in Japan, or even go to fight Nick Aldis in NWA randomly or some shit like that. But I wouldn't mind just seeing him tour, just go through. I wouldn't like to see him in one particular brand. But if they are doing this MLW WWE partnership, which I don't believe is happening, which it would be like WWE, MLW, and before they go for Ring of Honor is the next one. It's like, haha, we got a Forbidden Door truth. We're working with Ring of Honor.
So the MLW thing, it's supposed to be similar to how they had the Evolve deal, wasn't it?
Yeah, which can work.
Where they had a few of their talent just jump in between. Like normally it was mostly NXT stars.
Yeah, and I wouldn't mind seeing that. I wouldn't mind seeing them go to do a little MLW work, or if they reach some random deal with Ring of Honor, he could go work with them for a little bit and come back or stuff like that. But mostly, I would rather see him just end up in NXT.
El Luchador in the chat room, and El Luchador said he wouldn't mind seeing NXT. Then he said, then New Japan, and then he says he needs Sabre Jr. versus Danielson. For me personally, I would like him to stay under the WWE umbrella. I think where he could go and he could really assist a lot is in NXT. I think he could be a great hand on NXT, and I think there's so many matchups that you can still get that quality of matches like you want Sabre Jr., but we've never really seen Adam Cole versus Daniel Bryan, or even Kyle O'Reilly, Daniel Bryan.
You got that on SmackDown.
We did, but we never got it with stakes. Or how about Daniel Bryan feuds with the Way? It's a lot of things that he can do, and I think he can also enhance that brand on the Tuesday night. And I don't want him on Raw. Don't want him on Raw.
As I would like to say, Daniel Bryan versus Walter.
Daniel Bryan versus Balor.
Now, for me though, what I don't want to see. I don't want him to be on SmackDown next week underneath a luchador mask, hanging out with Cesaro, talking about this ain't Daniel Bryan. I don't need that.
I'm the dragon.
We're going to pretend he's Kalisto.
So now the opposite end of the question, I go to you first, Marcus. Where do you see Roman Reigns going to next?
Well, he's going to stay in WWE.
Marcus, you know what I mean. You know what I mean. God.
The way you worded that question, man, it seems like they're both out of here. Well, Roman Reigns is going to stay at the top. I don't think he's losing anytime soon. I don't know when he's going to have this match with Cesaro, in which he just decided to murder a man in front of Cesaro, a man that appeared to be his friend. He keeps leading the situation. Maybe, so I don't see him losing anytime soon, but he is the tribal chief, the head of the table, and he is the focal point of all of wrestling right now. He is the champion.
Marcus, you've raised the Keith Lee situation when Dijak got killed, but at least Cesaro couldn't do anything about it because he was tied up. Keith Lee watched that happen.
Hold on. I'm not going to let you say Keith Lee just watched that happen. He's a fat man, and let me tell you this, he was lazy. He was lazy and thought Dijak would be able to get out of that situation. He's like, you can get out of that. I don't have to jump in.
No, he was dead already, and he carried on.
Yeah, you're right. But no,
he's already dead.
You don't know what Keith Lee was going through that week. God damn it.
Man,
all right, he couldn't get into that ring.
What about you? Where would you like to see? Who would you like to see Roman feud with next?
So I would actually like to see the Cesaro feud, but maybe you're gonna have to throw in Seth and make it a triple threat. So if the title needed to be dropped, but I don't see it that way. I see him feuding with Cesaro and then maintaining that WWE Universal Championship. How about you?
I said for myself, and I told you guys in the pre-show that I want him to avoid Cesaro at all costs. I think
Cesaro.
I can call it what I want to call it, Marcus. I wasn't mocking the Drip King himself, Seth Rollins. I was not doing that. I would like to see him be avoided, and I would like to see the next person be served up to slaughter to have a little bit of a heyday would be Nakamura against Roman Reigns. Because Nakamura, his thing, he reminded Roman, we got unfinished business. And they do have unfinished business. And I think that business needs to be taken care of, just in my opinion.
Now, here's my question about that, about, these potential contenders. Roman beats them all. This one, as I looked online, seemed to, generate the normal Roman backlash of him burying the whole locker room and beating everybody. Who do we have actually beating Roman in that back of the locker room right now?
I don't know. And I think for me, once again, wrestling fans just have their panties in a bunch and they're just getting all upset and stuff about stuff that they shouldn't be upset about. At the end of the day, Roman is the most dominant champion that we have. What are you guys laughing at?
Man, he raised his hand.
Oh, Roman is the most dominant champion that we've had. The fact that these same wrestling fans can complain about Roman dominating, but also accept the fact that Kenny Omega is going throughout different companies and taking titles away from different companies is just the hypocrisy that exists in professional wrestling. Manny, go ahead. You did you raised your hand. Go ahead, my brother.
So there is one thing that I need to bring up. So do you know the talking head interviews about who's going to win? Xavier Woods needs to be put in his place by the tribal chief for claiming that the tribal chief has been handed everything. He has, but you don't need to bring it up. I think the tribal chief needs to go to Raw and handle the situation.
No, that's beneath him. That's beneath him.
No,
I said Jimmy. Send Jimmy.
Well, you can send Jay. You can send Jay.
No. Don't need to send
Have
Jay.
Naomi take care of it. She's already over there. She ain't doing shit. You know, Chief crazy. You gotta do me a favor, Naomi. Take out that Austin Creed. Take out Austin. I'm not even calling him by his government name, Xavier Wood, or his raw name, Xavier Wood. We're taking out Austin Creed tonight. He ain't gonna ever see G4.
He ain't gonna see G4 because G4. You know what? We're gonna make sure of that.
On the side note, Kenny Omega did win both belts. I know we're not there yet, but I want to.
If you want to go there, Marcus,
compare the champions.
We could go there.
We compare the champions. Because I believe they have a similar thing going for them, in which they are both, led by a balding white man, Don Callis and Paul Heyman on the respective sides. They both have their faction, Good Brothers, the blah 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 blah, Young Bucks, which come has Jey Uso. But with that being said, I know Kenny won the Impact title, but it don't matter to me if your main show don't mention or display it how dominant you are. And the big dog in any vignette that they had this night showed like this is the champion. He had killed those other guys, and I declare the big dog with one title the better champion right now.
Well, that's the point. Is the way they position Kenny is almost like he isn't the big deal, or he's got 3 belts from 3 different companies. He should be positioned the way they book him things as the guy. We shouldn't even be talking about Roman in this conversation. We should be talking about Kenny as if he was Roman Reigns. But they're not booking him like Roman Reigns. When Roman Reigns is there, he's at the beginning. He takes 10 minutes to get to the ring, and then he's at the end. And we know who's the champion and who's the big deal, who's the big dog on Raw. He's midway through on every segment. He doesn't even start Dynamite. He's probably like after the first match in a stupid segment, then another stupid segment, and then midway through Dynamite, he's there. He's never at the end recently. It's just he doesn't seem like a big deal.
He comes across as a comedy skit, and that's the worst part about it. It's like, this is your champion, and Let's jump into Dynamite. Let's talk about the biggest atrocity that happened this week is that you have the champion. Yeah, it is, because you have the champion in a dire situation where his ankle is about to be broken. And at this point, Don Callis is willing to make any type of deal that he can possibly make in this situation. And this is how unimportant the AEW championship is, that instead of saying, I want a title shot for the AEW championship, he goes and says, I want Kenny Omega and Michael Nakazawa in the match next week. For no, like, it boggled my mind that this is what you decided to go with.
This is like you got the genie. Or, you know what, you got a genie in a lamp and you had any wish you could get.
Marcus,
like, hey,
my question is,
did
you rub it the right way, though? Did you rub it the right way?
I know how to rub my lamp. I tell you that. I know how to handle my lamp.
Did you shine it up real good?
I shined it up real nice and stuck it straight up. This candy ass.
Well, El Luchador says leave Kitty alone, but we're not going to leave Kitty alone right now.
Hold on. No, this isn't even a negative thing about Kenny. It's more about what they did in this story. It didn't make sense for this way. And I know we're coming out hot bashing AEW and something that was in the middle segment. But to me, this was something glaringly different from the way WWE books things, in which the almighty Bobby Lashley would not be in this situation. And if MVP had to make a deal, Drew McIntyre is clearly making himself in a title match, or at least fighting someone he felt screwed him over, involving, let's say, if the Hurt Business was still around. In this one, he goes out and challenges Nakazawa and Kenny. And I feel like that is the worst possible answer in this situation, in which you have the Good Brothers who interfered in your barbed wire match, who you still want revenge on, who you have from Impact, who have just nothing but goons and just hanging out with. Or you have the Young Bucks who betrayed Mox, I think 2 weeks earlier, a week earlier, whatever it is, 3 weeks earlier.
I think it was 2 weeks ago.
2 or 3 weeks, less than a month ago, who betrayed him and decided to side with their friend. And they are the current tag team champions. The things he could have asked for, the tag team champions, whether it's not a title match or whatever, or the heavyweight champion, just show that none of those belts actually matter, and none of this actually matters. And it's garbage. It's garbage. It didn't make any sense.
Well, garbage is one of the things that, we can always say. It made no sense. It's almost going back to SmackDown when we look at the women's tag team championships, where for week in and week out, we got singles matches that led to absolutely anything. And then you finally get a what the fuck moment. And I think anybody who was watching SmackDown this week really thought that Tamina and Natty got gold. No one told me at any point that this was a non-title match. And the fact that Tamina and Natty won a match, but they don't have gold, I think it set with me the wrong way. Manny, you said in the pre-show that you also
Tamina match was set with you the wrong way.
Well, you said it also. You thought they were the new women's tag team champion, correct?
Yeah, I think all three of us said that.
Yeah, I was like, oh, they did it. It's over. I thought it was a relief too when they pinned him. I was like, it's over. It's finally over. Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler do not have to lose on every show anymore.
No, but then do you know what will happen? Do you know what will happen, Marcus? If they actually won the titles, they would become the people that lose on every show.
There's two more things I would like to talk about on SmackDown, Marcus, and I'm going to turn to you first. The Intercontinental Championship picture on SmackDown has taken a turn. A lot of people have threw their name or their feather into the hat to challenge Apollo Crews, Marcus. Big E finally got his rematch against Apollo Crews, but of course some outside interference from the Commander prevented him from becoming victorious. Afterwards,
that man can make some Nigerian chicken.
Afterwards, Kevin Owens got involved, and then Sami Zayn got involved. Marcus, all these turns, are you excited about the Intercontinental Division right now, or are you a little disappointed what's going on?
I'm a little disappointed. And here's why. I wanted Sami Zayn to align himself with Apollo and Colonel Aziz.
It's Commander, Marcus. Stop making him a colonel.
He's the colonel. No. I ain't never seen him command nothing. He ain't got no battleships.
So you're trying to say he's got 11 herbs and spices, this man?
Yes, he has 11 herbs and spices, and that's all he has. He can't command shit. All right, he can't command me. He can't command you. He can't command nobody. But he went. I was kind of disappointed. I wanted to see that alliance. I don't know. I feel like it would work better if we had all of them together. But I'm fine with it. Big E's gonna lose. I feel like it's leading to a fatal 4-way triple threat, whatever kind of match deal, whatever they're at, and I think Apollo will win. There's no reason to take the belt off Apollo right now.
Manny, Marcus talks about a triple threat or even a fatal 4-way. You think that's a cop-out to keep the title or even have the title change hands if Apollo does lose?
Well, it's always a cop-out when they do it that way. Like, it's very rarely that it feels like it was deserved. Like the last one was It's when Bobby Lashley was talking about it, it's like how he lost the United States Championship in a triple threat match. When they mentioned it on Raw, a show that you did not watch this week.
Did not?
And yeah, so it's always a cop out. It's always to keep someone safe when you do those kinds of things. Like the weaker person will always get pinned to lose the title. But I'm liking how things are heating up in the Intercontinental title division, but they'll get bored of it within like a month, and we'll be back to where the title means nothing again. So I'm not holding my hopes on this.
Well, something that WWE did a lot this week, and not really sure. I don't even think it was just WWE. I think all the wrestling companies. We had an absurd amount of 6 people tags or multiple member tags. Marcus, are you tired of all these tag matches that mean did the Dirty Dogs teaming up with Bayley going against the Street Profits and Bianca Belair do anything for you?
Bianca Bills. What porn star is that, Eric?
Oh, wow.
We haven't made a porn reference to you in a long time.
I know, Marcus. I know.
But I thought this was a necessary 6-man tag.
Really?
I thought it was necessary. Yeah, it was one of those in which one, we hadn't got one in like a week. Anyway,
so we got fed 4 in a week.
So they took a week off. I was okay with this one. It's told the story of the Street Profits and Bianca Belair versus Bayley and stuff. It gives the Profits a win so they can challenge the Dirty Dogs. Again, they have a reason, and Bayley gets the win. It works. To me, it all made sense at the end of the day. It all made sense. I was okay with it. I enjoyed the match too.
What about you, Manny? Did you feel that it made sense?
It made sense to have, because they're all number 1 contenders versus the champions, so it made sense to have this match. And let's not forget, Montez did snitch last week.
He did. He
started this.
As I'm trying to play with different camera angles and stuff for whatever reason. I don't know why I'm doing
Are you?
that. Yes, because I got tired of you going out your square. Because why not experiment? And so I created a new thing. Oh, I forgot to go back. It was just Maddie sitting there.
It looks like we're frozen on. Oh no, we're not frozen. I'm sorry.
With that being said, was there anything on SmackDown that I may have missed that you guys would like to discuss, or shall we move on to either Dynamite or NXT?
I would just say that SmackDown seemed so important this week. Like every match kind of mattered, even though like we did kind of dog on the Natty, and that match still felt relatively important in comparison to anything that happened on Raw.
And Manny, I would double down on what you said, because like I don't think we ragged on that match more because I thought the match was a lot better than what it should have been. But even the 6-person tag that started to show off, it felt like this had a purpose because it was pushing forward the feud between Bayley and Sasha, and Bobby Roode took a hair whip for just for the general purposes of the situation. And now
Bobby Roode likes to be whipped.
Maybe he do. And then you're gonna have like the Street Profits, I'm assuming, against the Dirty Dogs. Marcus, was there anything?
It'll be fun. Wait, there was that one thing where Dolph was ready to fight Bianca.
He was.
Dolph was ready. I'll take you
He was
on.
showing who he was. I'll take you on. Let's go. But the tag titles, the Street Profits are not beating the Dirty Dogs. I feel like the Mysterios will beat the Dirty Dogs, as they set up in their promo before. You hope not? I like the Mysterios.
I want Dominic to turn on his dad.
Manny,
they gotta win the titles first.
Manny.
And do you really need this story?
Yeah,
do
Manny,
you really need that story?
I'm sorry. Another thing to solidify the legend of Rey Mysterio is that he won the tag team titles, to be the first ever to win the tag team titles with his son. I believe that is a great story, in my opinion.
No, Eric, I want this to happen. I want you to watch my camera carefully.
Okay, I will switch to your camera personally. There you go.
I want him to be turned on by Dominic, or before, when they win the titles, Dominic, he then hits him with the belt, and then he looks up with the belt, kisses the title. This one's for you, Dad.
Wow. Manny still with that dark stuff. Marcus, because if I had a mute button for Manny, I would mute him right now for saying such awful things. Marcus, where would you like to go next? Would you like to go to AEW Dynamite, or would you like to venture down the road to NXT?
Let's go to Dynamite.
We will go to AEW Dynamite, and guess what, guys? AEW, in my opinion, if you like what AEW serves you up, was not a bad show. It was, if you like
you like Cracker Barrel.
No, I mean, it's
if you like this food's good for you if you like this kind of shit.
I actually enjoy.
I got music in the background for no reason.
I actually enjoy the open match between the Machine, Brian Cage, against Hangman Adam Page. However, I think over the last couple of weeks, we have all been saying, man, what happened to Adam Page in this situation? Manny, this loss was bad for Adam Page and his momentum. Where do you think he goes from here? He lost to Brian Cage.
I don't think it was necessarily bad. Like, this is obviously his first loss, I think, this year. But then it paints the picture later on in the evening about Team Taz not really needing Taz. But I just constantly feel like Adam Page is constantly being overlooked. Like, there's so much nonsense going on with Kenny Omega that even him being ranked number 1 in the rankings means he's not going to get this title shot anytime soon. And that's something I would probably want to see, because there's so much stuff going on behind it, because they used to be tag partners and all that stuff, and it was like a weird break anyway, that you almost want to see this match at their next pay-per-view, which is probably Double or Nothing. But you're not going to get it because there's all this mess in between Kenny, Mox, Kenny and Impact and all this stuff, that whatever Kenny's supposed to be doing in terms of the championship means nothing at this moment in time.
So you feel that AEW is a little bit too convoluted in their own main title picture to have a concise storyline and make it a payoff for you?
Well, so in the comments, El Luchador said, imagine if WWE treated their mid-card champions the way AEW does. I wouldn't like that, because the mid-card in AEW is a mess in itself. And like, the AEW TNT title seems more important than the AEW World Heavyweight title at the moment, because that's been main eventing every night.
Marcus, do you agree with Manny in his assessment of what is going on in AEW right now with their confusion of their main title picture?
Well, my whole thing is, like, where I agree with him is that the whole title picture is a mess, and this win does nothing. No matter who would have won this match, this win or loss does nothing to any one of these guys. To Hangman Page or even Brian Cage, who named Brian with Page. But Ethan Page, I was going to say. So I feel like it doesn't matter. It's not like Brian Cage is going to get a title shot now. It's not like Hangman Page. If you're number 1 contender or number 1 ranked, you don't get a title shot. It just seems like that title is just being held up on mostly hostage. It's rarely defended. He rarely talks about it, to be honest. He talks about everything else going around. He's the god of wrestling or whatnot else. The AEW Championship is kind of just missed in the middle of that. I don't feel like there is a current contender now. I know Mox and Eddie Kingston are fighting, but they're ready to fight Nakazawa. But that should be over. I feel like we settled this if you don't settle your feud at a barbed wire death match, where are you going with it? Like, you need to move on with this. And Hangman Page should be the guy that they moved on to, and they should be building toward the next big pay-per-view, which I think is Double or Nothing, maybe. Who knows? Should be Hangman Page versus Omega, but they're not. It doesn't seem like they're going that route either. And I honestly don't know what the purpose of this loss was. It was in like 5 minutes. I know he was jumped before, but I don't understand the purpose of it.
I just don't feel like
it just seemed like it added anything to anybody.
I don't feel like the jumping protected anybody in this situation. I just thought that overall, I think that we both all agree that the AEW Dynamite Championship is the most muddled championship in wrestling right now because the champion is so busy doing everything else, but even having a legitimate challenger. Because, like, who do you want to see? I think Manny's right. Adam Page has a lot of history with Kenny Omega, but then you still have this Mox situation. But then, like, next week they announced that Mox is going to be fighting Yuji Nagata for the IWGP championship. So why is he even trying to go after Kenny Omega in this situation? So it's just really confusing. And then you wonder,
That's
Brian,
in 2 weeks.
at 2 weeks. And then Brian Cage, who is the FTW champion, which means absolutely nothing, but he is still the champion. He has another win. Where does he go from here? Like, what do you really do? And then let me fast forward to something that's extremely inconsequential, is that the fact that we have Rusev, who destroyed Kip Sabian in the back, then he made up with him because the week prior, he talked about he was going to pursue a championship, but we don't know what championship he's going after. Is it going to be Darby Allin or is it going to be Kenny Omega? And I think that they really need to, for a company that has a ranking systems that is supposed to let us know who is the next contender for the champion, it is very, very confusing. What up to On the DL? I don't know what the download you doing, my brother, but thank you for joining us on this live episode.
He is there, though.
He is there.
He let you know.
It's only because I asked. If you feel me, say what's up.
Hey, what's up?
So-
What's up?
A match that I did enjoy. Go ahead, Marcus.
Oh, no, I'm done. Go ahead.
So I can't believe I'm about to say these words. And I never thought it would be a day that I would say these words. And I think I've said these words before, and I questioned myself each time I did. I am enjoying the new evil Young Bucks. I like the fact that they went and they talked to Drip Rollins, got his old outfit that he wore with the black jacket, came out to the ring, and I thought they had a solid match against Matt and Mike Sydal. Manny, you have a smile on your face. What do you need to say?
Because I feel the tweet of the week is Seth Rollins saying, "Congratulations on my jacket, making it through the forbidden door."
Which was a great tweet. But I think that they're excelling as bad guys. And I think it has brought some type of stability to the tag team division of AEW, where we're not getting a lot of random tag matches on the show just for, shit and giggles. Marcus, what do you have to say about that?
I 100% disagree with them excelling as bad guys. What are they doing? They're not really doing anything. They're just wearing different outfits. That it's not making me want to boo them. They're still wrestling the same type of matches. Sorry for touching my ear. But there's nothing really different about them. It's nothing. I haven't really got anything from them that I didn't get in the other matches. They're still doing the same things. And you doing a Johnny Cage punch to somebody in the nuts, that'll make me boo you. That's going to make people cheer you anyway. They're not doing anything that they wouldn't do if they were faces or heels. It's the same character.
Well, Marcus, maybe I'm just happy that the tassels aren't there anymore because I hated the tassels. But
they're over.
No, over their eyes.
So
they'll come back.
Everybody,
over their eyes. They're wearing sleeping sleeping blinders. I don't know what they're called.
So
over your eyes.
Let's talk about the elephant in the room. Some information after the Young Bucks defeated Matt and Mike Sydal came out that I don't know if anybody who even might be the hardest core fan of AEW cared about. It's SCU came out, and Kazarian had a microphone, and he told us that when he made the promise that the next time SCW lost, that would be
first, Marcus.
That would be.
Wait, what did you call
him? SCU.
You call him SW? Yeah, you call him SCW or SWB.
It don't matter. Well, with SCU, when Cass said that the next time that they lost, that would be the end of SCU, and he says they've had a 9-match winning streak. Manny, did you even care at that situation?
Eric, this promo made me believe that they actually were facing them next week on Blood and Guts for the titles. No, they're in a fatal 4-way match to see who becomes number one contender. I was like, what? Why would you even cut this promo?
And then my question for you, Marcus, is that if they lose that fatal 4-way match, does that mean that's the end of SCU, aka SWV, SCW, and all those other people? And El Luchador actually cares about this. He said he does, and we're glad that you do care, El Luchador. We appreciate you caring.
But you sounded so sarcastic when you said
that. Did I? I didn't mean to sound that way.
But the whole thing about the story, it doesn't make sense. It's been going on since November or December of last year that Cass came out there. We haven't seen these guys at all on Dynamite in weeks. We've seen the Seidel's, we've seen the Acclaim, we've seen half of Top Flight, makeshift tag teams, Dark Orders. We've seen everybody but SCU, Ethan Page, Scorpio Sky, The Factory, The Nightmare Family, The Family of the Nightmare Family, The Guns, and Brandy. We've seen all these people in all these tag matches. And SCU comes back, and then they're talking about how fake the Young Bucks has been, as if it's been like more than 3 weeks.
It's been two.
Yeah, as if they've done anything to them. I just feel like everything feels out of proportion, a little rushed. I have no emotional attachment to SCU because they haven't been on TV. I haven't heard any promos from them whatsoever. And that they are not just given the match after winning all these matches on Dark. And they already number one ranked team. And I believe they were number one ranked when Cass said they were going to break up when they lose. That they haven't received a title shot, but yet the Seidel's and everybody else has gotten title shots, and Varsity Blondes and whoever else. I just feel like it doesn't make sense that why aren't the number one ranked teams getting title shots, and then that it's already a foregone conclusion that SCU is winning next week. Why not just make them the number one contenders? Why even go through this? Or give us this match the week before to determine the number one contenders, or somewhere along that route.
So, Marcus, you talked a lot. My question for you, what's more confusing, the AEW tag team picture or the women's tag team picture in WWE?
Which one?
The women's tag. It's not the NXT part. I'm talking about the WWE one, not the NXT, because I respect that
one. Which one? There's a SmackDown and Raw.
Marcus, no. The WWE Women's Tag Team Champions is on one show.
The tag team.
Yes.
The tag team champions.
Yes.
Oh, that's not confusing at all. That's not confusing at all.
So
on Raw, the number one contenders are clearly Lana and Naomi, and on SmackDown, Tamina and Natty have put their names in the hat after pinning the champions.
I will let
that is not a mistake, because Lana and Naomi have a pinfall over Nia Jax and and Mandy Rose and Dana Brooke walked out on their match that was like Tamina and Natty.
I will let the chat. I will let the chat room know. We will get to the QT Marshall hate eventually, but just like that, I don't really want to have him on the show either. But we will get there. We will get there. Marcus, I want to talk about one of my favorite things about someone being confused, and I think you brought this up last week. I don't understand AEW in this promo, but it's Jade Cargill once again talking about how she don't need a manager, but if she gets a manager, they gonna have to give her a lot of money. Managers, you usually pay people to be your manager. I don't understand.
Managers normally just take a cut.
Yeah, I don't understand her dynamic, and I don't understand who they're trying to have debut that's going to be handling Jade Cargill, but I don't think I need this. Marcus, do you need this?
I guess it's giving her something to do. It's nice still for their women to have more than one segment. At least they get more than one talking segment and more than one match. They have evolved.
Okay, that's all. Manny, what about you?
I don't have much to say about that.
I don't have much to say about it. It doesn't make sense.
I thought a good match that they had on the show that was just like kind of a throwaway match that didn't have any weight behind it, but it was still a good match. It was Penta El Zero Miedo going against Orange Cassidy. I enjoyed the match. I hate the involvement of the announcer. It's like AEW, they do something successful, and I think that the one time where Penta came out and Alex interpreted for him, it worked, but now they're overdoing it. Manny, are you getting tired of Alex translating for what Penta said?
Yeah, I felt that this is what ruined the match. It ruined it for me. I felt the match was going great till he decided to pick up a microphone and go, Penta says, your mom's a bitch.
Yeah, it just first of all, shout out to Manny taking the time to get the props to point out that Penta's mom. I mean that Trent.
I was like, he's gonna go for chips. Oh, go ahead.
Marcus, what about you? Did you like the spot where Penta had to try to prevent Orange Cassidy from getting his hand into his pocket so he could power up?
So my problem with this one.
Oh boy.
Wow.
Yep.
I didn't know you had a problem, my brother. Let me give you the floor. I'm gonna give you the floor. You all by yourself, man.
All right. I'm gonna just take the time here and say Penta's above this. Like, to me, I thought, whatever the case was with Orange Cassidy, and he had his moment, all right? He fought Jericho in his promotion match. It was fine. But it seemed like we were on a rise of Penta as a singles competitor. And, you guys may not like Alex translating for Penta and saying Penta says, I still enjoy that. Do I need him involved in his matches? Maybe he can interfere every now and then. But I didn't think that Penta should take a loss here to Orange Cassidy if he was going to ride it. Like, it seemed like Penta was going some places. Like, I felt like he was going to feud with Cody or go into, like, be the contender that may eventually go after Darby or even Kenny later on in the future. But once he lost to Orange Cassidy, I lost full interest in, like, oh, he lost. He doesn't need to, he's not a contender. And it's to the microphone shot, which is the spot they've overused too many times. You can take 2 Canadian destroyers, but a microphone shot or it to the head beats everybody. It's similar to the 24/7 title roll up. That beats everybody. It doesn't make sense. I hate the microphone shot.
But Marcus, where I think I have to disagree with you on this is,
I don't care if you disagree.
I know you don't care, but Marcus, I understand that you're a fan of Penta, and I get that. However, if I'm following along with the AEW product, Orange Cassidy is more of the money draw than Penta in this situation. Manny, do you agree or disagree with my assessment in that?
I think they've positioned Orange Cassidy to be bigger than Penta, but realistically, Penta should be in a much higher standpoint in the company's eyes in comparison. But I feel like Orange Cassidy drives merch, so you've got to keep pushing him the way he is.
That is also
I don't think you have to do that. You don't have to. You don't have to. Orange Cassidy does not have to win matches to get his attention. I think he's still Orange Cassidy, win or lose. People are going to support him and his lackadaisical, sloth-like gimmick. People will be on board with that. But I believe this is beneath Penta at this point.
Okay.
They screwed over the Death Triangle. Every single one of them is screwed over multiple times.
So since the chat room has asked for it, let's talk about it. We got a match. We got a match that took place. 57-year-old Billy Gunn teaming up with Dustin Rhodes and Lee Johnson.
Manny, put him in a little box, please.
Huh?
We take a commercial break, please.
Can we just walk off screen while he talks about it? I finally got myself perfectly positioned in Eric's box because I've been off center for ages.
Yes.
And I do not want to move anymore.
But now I'm bringing up QT Marshall, Nick Komoroto, Aaron Solo. Let me just point out, I knew we were in for some tomfoolery when QT showed up on the Nightmare Express bus. Like, honestly, in this situation, you could have called the police and took care of that. As Manny and Marcus both look disgusted, let's just cut straight to the point. Do you care about Cody being on that bus and QT Marshall and him feuding? Manny?
I'm abstaining from talking about this segment.
He has abstained from talking. Manny has abstained, and I will grab a microphone that I don't have. Manny says he does not care about this segment. Marcus, moving on to you. QT Marshall and Cody Rhodes, they are feuding, Marcus. This man has a pregnant wife. Shouldn't he be taking care of Brandy and taking QT off of TV?
No, you can do both. You can do both. But, I like my co-host on the Untitled Manny and Marcus show, Eric. I would like to abstain from this. But my hate will not let that go. Will not let that go. Okay?
Marcus, can I pause you real quick, Marcus? I'm glad that you didn't abstain, because if you would have chose to abstain, I would have forced you guys in to not talk about this match, but talk about Chris Statlander versus Penelope Ford. So, Marcus, I'm glad that
that was cover of my show this week.
That was the thumbnail this week for the show, and it worked, ladies and gentlemen. It worked.
Hey, titties and ass sell, man. And the thing about it, because the way I watch AEW, the way that JR talks about Penelope Ford should be against the law. It really should be. It is really cringy. But Marcus, go back and talk about.
The way JR talks about anyone other than Shida and Serena Deeb, he needs to be put himself in a little box.
But Marcus, you had hate to give about Anthony Ogogo and all these other people.
I have hate for everybody involved in this one. Everybody.
Before you continue, I dislike that you mentioned Anthony Ogogo by name. I feel like that's a slight on me. And to carry on, Hulk Hogan is also American, so there you go.
I would say Hulk Hogan has done more good than Anthony Ogogo has ever done, but he's also done more bad. Marcus, go ahead.
I don't have no facts to either one of those. To either one of those statements. All right. So this segment here, this story here, just needs to stop. Before the story started, Eric, as I brought up in the previous segment, it looked like we were going to get Penta and Cody in a serious storyline. Boy, have we fallen off the trail of that completely with this Factory and Nightmare Family shit.
Wasn't that only like 3 weeks ago when that was supposed to happen? It feels like it was only 3 weeks ago when that was supposed to happen, and we got derailed so quickly from that.
Yes. I don't know where that went. Or even, I feel like Scorpio Sky even did stuff with Cody for a second, I think. I felt like, I don't know if that actually happened. It may have been a dream.
No, Scorpio Sky was with Darby
Allin.
Allin.
That was Darby. But I just felt like there were just directions that Cody could have went into that would have benefited this product and this brand. And there are people on this roster that can benefit from wrestling with Cody on this brand. And for him to choose to only wrestle involving his factory and family, promote whatever school or whatever this is. Honestly, I don't think they ever explained to us what the Nightmare Family is. Is it a faction? Is it a school? Is it just a bunch of guys hanging around? Whatever happened to Red Velvet? We haven't seen her since she died.
Wasn't she in the audience?
I don't know, Eric. I don't know. I just feel like this is the biggest vanity feud in wrestling today. I could care less about any of these guys, from QT to Ogogo. Ogogo's punch is the stupidest and lamest thing in wrestling.
How dare you? The Nigerian nail also exists in this universe as well.
Yeah,
wow, Marcus! Wow, he spit facts.
If you want to shade at my Nigerian heritage and come at me and say the Nigerian nail, we have a president that the nail works via Umaga. Used it back in the day, all right? So Umaga used that move. That is an homage, all right? So that is a credible move. That's like saying the claw is an incredible move when the Von Erichs did it. Don't care which one did it.
To be fair, I'd be more impressed if Ogogo did the Carly chop.
I would, because the punch doesn't look impressive. Then you have a frontman who is the worst frontman. If this was a band, QT Marshall will be your local friend who says, yeah, I have a band. We perform every Saturday night at some shitty ass dive bar that no one goes to see for them at all. And they're just there. That's what is going on here.
This
is trash.
Marcus.
I don't want anything to do with it. This is beneath
I really need a mute button for Marcus.
This is the absolutely worst. Like, you get Pinnacle and Inner Circle, and then you got a low rent version of that. And then you get this whole thing in which they go to the bus Eric. They probably brought the bus.
I put him in black and white
because
he won't stop talking.
Family has a bus. I do not care that the Nightmare Family has the bus. It looked like an All Lives Matter bus. It looked like a knockoff of the Lex Express. It is a stupid ass looking bus that goes with his stupid ass looking tattoo. So he goes to his bus, and Cody is waiting for him at the door, and QT is going to escape on Cody's bus.
You were going to abstain, and now we've got a 5-minute diatribe about this stupid segment.
I told you hate has excelled,
and Betty.
It is spewing.
And Betty, because he's speaking historic facts right now, that's why he's in black and white right now. Marcus, continue your hate, man. You're in black and white. Go ahead. Be historic.
So, as I grasp into the more hate, as I pull myself, knowing that I need to limit this show so I can get enough sleep to work a 12-hour shift tonight, I am still willing to rant on this because this shit had simmered throughout the week. Okay, I was not able to rant on this because I was almost comatose on the show last time, and I'm letting it all out right now. So then, Cody comes out the bus with his shirt on, punches QT Marshall and decides, you know what? I'm going to rip my shirt off for the people to show that I've been working out. They have this fight. QT says, I'm going to escape from you by climbing on top of the bus like he's running from my fucking dog. Okay? The only time you jump on top of cars if you're running from a dog. Cody chases him, and this stupid ass Aubrey goes after him too. Why the hell is he on top of the bus? Why the hell is Aubrey Edwards on top of this goddamn bus? I was hoping someone had said, why? I just looked at him, I was like, what are you doing?
Marcus, she had to be on the bus to wave her arms, man. She had to wave her arms.
Why are you waving your arms? Are you waving in a jet? Are you waving in a helicopter or a plane? Are you drowning in air? Why are you waving your arms? So they do this, and I'm thinking maybe there's a spit spot here. He throws him through the ceiling of the bus. Maybe he throws him off the bus onto the crowd of people. But no, Cody goes, I'm going to do something devastating to you. I'm going to put you in the figure 4 leg lock on the top of the bus. Aubrey Edwards goes to check and make sure QT and tells Cody to let him go, but gets the count. Against the count. Like, that's going to stop anything. And none of it made sense. And then it ends with Cody standing on top of his bus, flexing. I hated this. I will hate this to the end of my life. On my grave, I wanted to say, was not brought here by the Nightmare Express bus, because this is where storylines come to die. This is horrible, and I can't believe this was on TV.
Is your rent over, Marcus?
Yes.
Can I restore you back to can I restore you back to color, Marcus? Can I give you back your soul?
Yes, please. Thank you, Sean.
All right. At the point though, Marcus did say some things in his diatribe, and I'm not gonna piggyback on his hate. I agree with everything that he said. At the end of the day, I would point out that I think a wet napkin has more personality than QT Marshall. It is something that you do not. There is no that has to be somebody's daddy. I mean, even when he was trying to screw the bunny wasn't even good enough to make him have a personality. He needs to be taken off TV at all costs. There are people, Manny, stop. Don't stop me right now because I have started to go down on this mountaintop and I feel like I agree with Marcus. QT Marshall is preventing so many people from actually flourishing inside of AEW. You could have had Miro with a match. I would rather see Chucky T, and we know how I hate Chucky T. I hate Chuck Taylor, but I would rather see Chuck Taylor on my camera before I see QT Marshall do anything in AEW. At all costs, he needs to be taken out. If someone assassinated him, I would be okay with it. Yes, I said it.
Don't be LeBron.
I said it, and I backtrack at the same time. He sucks.
No. You're going to put that statement out there. You leave that statement out there. You don't be backtracking on the statement like that.
You own the assassination of QT.
You own that. You said that with Chase, and you own it.
You know what? I have to.
As long as the cards QT Marshall don't get assassinated, they just get killed.
You know what? I must admit, I was caught in the lure of the boredom that QT Marshall emits from the television screen, and I said things that I do still believe in. I mean, when he was bent over in front of the Bunch store, and he's the only one that couldn't see Cody in there, and Cody without a suit is against the rules, man. This is just, I just don't need it. So let's just move over to something else that really grind my gears even more.
No. If you get to speak about this, I want to speak about
Manny,
this.
You abstained.
I've spoken about Mandy Rose, Dana Brooke, Lana, and Naomi being the bottom of the barrel. QT Marshall is the lid of this barrel.
Well, I was gonna say if he was at the bottom of that barrel, that's not a bad place to be, because having all them women on top of you is not that bad. But anyway, continue, Manny. You don't want to abstain anymore.
I'm done. I don't need no 5 minutes. I had a 2-minute comment. Not even a 2 minute, 1 minute comment. The hate is not strong with Eric. The hate was more strong with Marcus.
Well, because Manny, my hate is right here. It's in the next segment, the next match I'm going to talk about. And I realize I'm probably going to be hated even more for what I'm about to say. God damn it, AEW. I get that Brody Lee died. I understand it was a tragedy. I get that everyone was sad. He influenced so many people. But if you give me one more goddamn match with the Dark Order, talking about they doing it for Brody for a title match against the TNT title match that 10 did not deserve, who the fuck has 10 beat to be able to face Darby Allin? This should have been Adam Page. It could have been Orange Cassidy. It could have been Penta. It could have been anybody fighting Darby Allin. And then each week, week in and week out, we got Sting bringing his old tired ass out the ringside doing absolutely nothing. Then we get Les Archer come out there. I am sick and tired of this TNT championship, although it's the only championship that's being defended because Sting is involved. And god damn it, I'm sorry, Marcus, go ahead. How did you feel about the main event?
Well, I'll be more sensible, Stephen A. Smith, as a black man in America. I think it's absolutely atrocious that a black man has not had a chance to go after Darby Allin, or had the chances that Darby Allin. I was
gonna say, do you not count Scorpio Sky as a black man?
No, he ain't gonna eat the page, though.
He was adopted by those two middle-aged white men. So
no. Eric, I agree with your sentiments about Sting. I can't take it anymore. I can't take his repeat view, his rerun view. Like, he gets stuck on these loops of interview with Sting, interrupt Sting. Now he's on a loop of Darby Allin has match. Sting must gets involved in some kind and scare off the Dark Order, who was doing this for Brody, who weren't cheating. Or last week, when he was going after Luchasaurus, of all people. So all of this is nonsense. And Darby's put on a good match. He doesn't need Sting. It's not adding anything to any of this. Are they really just not that confident in Darby that he can hold up a main event by himself? Is that why Sting's with him? Because
they
I feel like he can.
For Sting to do. They need something for Sting to do.
I mean, I think Manny is correct. I think this is justification to have Sting around. Like I don't understand, because from what I can tell and gather from AEW, Darby Allin is one of the more popular characters on the show. El Luchador, you can probably answer that question. Is he somebody that you look forward to seeing on the TV screen? For me, I just know
if you say yes, I'm gonna throw things at you.
I'm just saying that we dealt with a feud between FTW and Darby Allin when he didn't have a title, or did he have the title? I'm not sure. And the fact that they're just out the picture doing other things, trying to recruit Christian Cage. I mean, let's just make it happen. At the end of the day, why don't we just make Darby Allin fight Sting? I'm just tired of seeing Sting. And El Luchador says he thinks that they realize Sting can't do anything else. But if that's the case, just like we say remove QT Marshall off of television, please remove Sting off of television, because I don't think he's bumping the ratings. I don't think he's doing it. Oh, God damn it.
Eric, you said something interesting about the Dark Order, and I brought it up to Marcus on Thursday. So they're obviously just keeping this around just to commemorate Brody. But is it time you just call it a day? It's been 4 months, I think, or even more, since he passed. Is it time you just cut the lead and then we kind of just pull away from the Dark Order? Because I think it's more than time, because these guys are almost stuck in limbo, stuck in the Dark Order now as well.
So there's one or two things that they need to do for me when it comes to the Dark Order. You either nix the whole project where you say, you know what, this was Brody's creation, we're going to stop doing it altogether, or you finally accept and make Adam Page become the leader, and then he creates a new Dark Order in his light. It's just something that you can't continue to fall back on Brody was great, Brody was this, let's do it for -1, stuff like that, because I think it really waters down the product, because the Dark Order meant something when Brody was there, but now they're just a side tribute act. Like, they're like a tribute band going around playing music for the person who fell from there. And I don't need that in my wrestling. And I forgot
it's we like still watching Nirvana without what you call it.
Well, Kurt Cobain, yes. Or it's like with Sublime.
Oh, no, completely different thing.
Like Sublime, when the lead singer killed himself, they, instead of still being Sublime, they became the Long Beach Dub All-Stars. I mean, like, it's a point where
Sublime began with Roe.
I know, Mark, but it's still not Sublime. It's Sublime with Roe. I like, as El Luchador say, if it became the Cowboy Order, I would be more than happy to see that.
That would sound so stupid. And guys, it's the Cowboy Order. I'm not calling you stupid, El Luchador, but I'm just the thought of the Cowboy Order.
I understand where he's going with that, right?
But the Cowboy Order sounds ridiculous.
Like, it's some momentum. They're just stuck.
Yeah, it's like nothing. It's like Adam Page has no momentum. They have no momentum. They need to go back to the drawing board and do something else. And I forgot almost in my rant of QT Marshall. And that's how bad QT Marshall is. He sucked the soul out of us that we almost forgot that we had a parlay on this show. And if it's one thing that I'm more sick of than QT Marshall, and that is the Inner Circle. And honestly, the Inner Circle...
Man, you're abstinent, Joey.
The Inner Circle and the Pinnacle, this feud has not been going on long enough to have this parlay, to have this blood match. This is just them trying to recreate the blood and guts match that they technically was not able to have when the pandemic started, and that's what they're trying to do now. Marcus, did you take anything of any positive nature away in the parlay that took place?
I thought, for a segment that what it was, I thought it was okay to give everybody in the group some good mic time and stuff. Although what they said seemed to be a little intense about murdering one another. I don't think any of that is happening, so they probably shouldn't be saying it, because ain't nobody dying.
No, well, Marcus, you had, I can't remember who he said it to. Dax said to one of Pride and Powerful, tell your kid goodbye, because I'm going to kill you. Daddy's not coming home tonight.
Yeah, whatever the segment is, if you're having a parlay or whatnot, I feel like if you say that to me, we've got a fight right there. I don't care about no parlay. It ain't no parlay in that.
You
talking personally.
At the end of the day, what I took away from the segment is that the Inner Circle is holding so many of these young stars back. Like, I thought Sammy Guevara shined in this situation, and honestly, I would love to see a main event where it was Darby Allin versus Sammy Guevara for the TNT title. That would be such a good match. It would be so fresh, because it's one of the things that AEW told me that you had. You had fresh stars. You had a new outlook of wrestling, but at the same time, we're still getting the same storylines again. How many times is Darby Allin going to go through the circuit of fighting the same people over and over and over again? When would Pride and Powerful ever get a shot at the tag team champions? Like, at the end of the day, they deserve so much more. Only person that I need to see go away is Chris Jericho. And as MJF said, you look tired. He's right. Let someone else carry the torch. If MJF is the man, go be it. But at the end of the day, I need this to stop. And I was the man. And you know what? Yes, El Luchador, I will say this. Sean Spears did shine, but he shined because QT Marshall is on that show. There's only one man that's more bored than
just kidding.
I know he's just kidding. No, but Manny, you know it's right. QT Marshall is worse than Sean Spears. QT Marshall next to Sean Spears makes Sean Spears look like the Ultimate Warrior. That's how bad QT Marshall is. But I have nothing else to add.
What that means
QT Marshall happened after this.
Shiny like a fresh shit on a hot summer day. Exactly, Jay Switch. Shit shines sometimes too.
I'm gonna say, this segment would have been great if they dragged this story out. This is the most rushed story. It's the slowest but rushed story I've ever been a part of. The MJF turn took too long with the Inner Circle, and the Pinnacle rise, which isn't much of a rise, of like forming in 1 week and giving themselves a name to only being attacked and beat up by the Inner Circle the next week, to now they want to kill each other. I feel like that was just like 2 or 3 weeks. And I feel like Pinnacle should have had a moment where they were able to run roughshod through AEW, where they look like a badass people. Because to me, what they're coming off as Retribution. I got Retribution vibe. In which they came in, they wrecked some shit one day, they did something. Tony QT Marshall, he did the exact same thing, like the same week, basically. And that was pretty much it. They haven't did anything. Like, we haven't seen any of these guys actually compete since they joined the Pineapple or the Pinnacle.
But I also think that if you really wanted to make the Pinnacle to be seriously, you got to put some type of goal in that group. Like, maybe this would be a time where MJF should go after Darby Allin and walk around with the TNT Championship. Then you have more of an excuse for them to be on television. I mean, as of right now, they're just a bunch of guys talking about that they're good, and they don't have anything that tells me that they are good. But Marcus, I have to be very conscious of your time. I need to leave.
I don't care about my time. I don't care. I yield my time. I yield my time.
Marcus, we need to go to more happier spaces.
I don't understand how we get to the point where Pride Powerful and FTR want to kill each other when they have never interacted with each other until today. Yes, there was that beatdown on site that Inner Circle did.
Marcus,
they have not interacted before this.
I can answer this question for you so easily. Do you really want me to tell you the truth, Marcus? You want me to tell you? It's pure racism. They don't like those people. That's what it is. It's simple. They
go hard.
If you think about it, think about Pinnacle. Pinnacle are all white men. And who did they target? Sammy Guevara and the Pride and Powerful. The 3 Latin men in that group. They don't like them. That's what it is, Marcus. You wanted an answer, I gave it to you. Racism. Racism is always the key.
But tell the truth, you don't want the story about how the time Jericho was almost assassinated in Abu Dhabi, and Jack Swagger saved his life.
Marcus,
made me laugh so hard. I went, what?
Marcus, I will point out, when I heard that, I was like, you cannot just give me that and not tell me anymore. Like, why didn't that happen before the podcast with Steve Austin so we can find out how he was almost assassinated in Abu Dhabi?
For assassination.
So, Marcus, you did say you felt that a lot of stuff is being rushed. Now, I'm jumping into NXT. Do you believe that the feud between Mercedes Martinez and Raquel Gonzalez is being rushed? Because I really enjoyed the opening match between Martinez and Dakota Kai, and I think eventually we're going to get Kai turning on on Gonzalez. But overall, did you like how they started NXT off with this match, Marcus?
I did. I really enjoyed Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez together, and I do real hate the day when she finally hits her in the back with a steel chair. You know it's coming to the back because she flexes that back. She leaves it open. Dakota Kai's going to see it and be like, bah! Right to the back. And it's going to be like, you never gave me that title shot. I deserve that title shot. I can't wait. And Mercedes Martinez is who she is. She's getting fed to the wolves. She will be murdered by Raquel Gonzalez whenever they have a match. But it will look good.
But Marcus, let me tell you this. This is the one thing I think NXT and sometimes WWE to a certain extent does very well. That they're fattening Martinez up to make her look like she's a credible contender to Raquel Gonzalez. I mean, it started weeks prior when she was finally collecting that money that was owed to her by Robert Stone and she was bullying everybody. Manny, do you like the fact that Martinez will probably be the first person to challenge Gonzalez? And on top of that, Gonzalez threw her head first into the barricade at NXT.
Well, Martinez is the best probably person that she could have a good match to start off that title run with. Like, obviously, you could go with the rematch with Io, but obviously Io's body needs to heal, is what she said last week. Oh, Jesus. But yeah, I feel like Mercedes Martinez is credible. Like, even when she had that Battle of the Badasses match against Rhea was probably one of her best matches on NXT. And then I think this match with Dakota Kai, despite the ending, was probably Mercedes Martinez's second best match on NXT.
I would agree. I think it's overall, I'm enjoying everything. And I think that I'm happy that they're taking Gonzalez as a serious champion. And she actually has competitors to go against, unlike the same thing that's going on in AEW when it comes to Omega. Now,
damn, that's a lot of weed.
Now, moving on. now, apparently that weed has come into.
That window is closed.
Maybe after spending so much time talking about QT Marshall and realizing how bad he is, that I can't believe I'm about to say this, but Ember Moon and Shotzi Blackheart has grown on me as a tag team. I think they bring a good energy to the feud, but I think what makes them even better is that they actually have a team that they can feud against, and that is Indy Hartwell and Candice LeRae. Manny, I turn to you first. We all know Candice sent those flowers to Shotzi and Ember, but at the point where Ember said, I got a husband, these are for you, Shotzi, were you shocked that Shotzi was not into Dexter Lumis? Because she is into that dark kind of lifestyle.
Yeah, but doesn't mean you're instantly attracted to Dexter Lumis.
Well, Indy was. Indy was,
He's
man.
clearly a serial killer.
But that's how Indy rolls.
Indy is evil. Yeah. She's Australian and evil, Eric. And probably one of the main reasons Icons were fired. Well, we got another Australian down there. She's in her 20s. Oh, shit.
But I think that what Indy does, Indy is playing the role because they didn't have to tell us that Indy was upset that Shotzi and Ember got those flowers. We just got to imply that she was moping around because she saw her man send flowers to another woman. And she was moping around. And then you have Dexter coming out like, it's not too late to apologize. I'm sorry. I love this.
Frankie.
Huh?
Are you sure it wasn't Frankie?
What? That sent the flowers? Frankie ain't got nothing. Frankie was just in somebody's business. Is going and pulling out cards and shit. Frankie is just that bitch. Marcus, do you think Indy's going to take Dexter back after he did her wrong, but he really didn't do her wrong?
Well, he did save her life this week. When she was in the ring for whatever reason. She was just really upset. So, I don't know. The storyline is entertaining for whatever reason. And continue as the flowers are spread. And it did inspire Indy, though, to go with an OC ass whooping in which someone's face was smashed into cupcakes. I figure that happens every day in Orange County, and that's what Candice LeRae is all about.
Marcus,
that was a birthday reveal or gender reveal gone wrong.
Marcus, I hate to let you know that she's from San Bernardino County, not Orange County. She's from Riverside. Sorry. Which that might be Riverside County. I don't know my counties. Manny, I'm going to turn to you to ask a question. I think we got what we all wanted this week. It was a 2-part segment with Cameron Grimes going to spend money.
Eric, my watch. It isn't going TikTok. I don't think Karen Cross is going to like this one.
Once again, Cameron Grimes is giving us an example what you should never do if you ever got money. But we all know that if we ever got money, we would do it. We would spend it. Did you like the cameo appearance of finally getting the $1 Million Man show up? And
I did, but I kind of wanted it to be drawn out even longer. I wanted this to go on for months.
But Manny,
I'm hoping they've shot like about 10 of these where $1 Million Man outbids him or gets him in the final straw, and it goes on for. I don't even care if it gets stale. I want it forever. If the AEW can have Chris Jericho go on from like the start of COVID to now, I want $1 Million Man versus Cameron Grimes for 4 years. Give me 4 years worth of booking WWE.
Manny, I'm confident.
Man, do you want that match?
No, I just want it lead up to never happens.
Because you know how it's going to end, Marcus. Cameron Grimes is going to lose all his money, and then $1 Million Man's going to be laughing like, ha ha ha. But I think, Manny, you get your wish. I think this could not be the only time that they use Ted DiBiase. And we all need to agree that Cameron Grimes says Ted DiBiase the best. Goddamn Ted DiBiase!
Goddamn Ted DiBiase.
Marcus, you have a smile on your face. I think you enjoyed this segment also.
I really did. It's just to me, it was just well done. Him just had a watchdog. Like everything about this was nice. I don't know. It was that feel good moment in which I can't wait for Ted DiBiase to pick a fighter of his choosing to fight Cameron Grimes, whoever it may be.
It's gonna be Leon Ruff. It's gonna be Leon Ruff or Reeves. Swerve's already proven to be bought out by money.
I honestly don't care. And then they have the match, and I know it's going to be for all of Cameron Grimes' money. Basically, a big money match similar to that. But I look forward to it.
Let me just say that, once again, QT Marshall really has done a lot for me this week because technically NXT happened before that, but I foresaw QT Marshall would make me sick. But we're talking about...
see this.
We're talking about...
You can't see this. You don't have no... You got powers, but only can see in the future when QT Marshall does stuff?
No, but QT Marshall has made me see the light that there's far worse people in society than the people that I hated. And one person that got so much hate from me and also from many. And in so many ways, Marcus may need an apology for how we treated him over this one man.
I apologize.
Hold on, before you even say anything, I'm going to put my hand up and say, Ever Rise rules.
Marcus, I appreciate that, Marcus, but we're about to give you your roses, Marcus. For the first time ever, and I mean ever, Swerve Scott made me care about him, Marcus. I don't know why Swerve Scott being in the studio with the background people in the studio with him talking his shit, him telling Leon, damn, I'm happy that you finally stood up as a man. Manny, I want to go to you because you stood up. You ain't never... Why are you standing up, Manny?
Because he told Leon if he wants to play this game, he's going to continue to play, but this time he's playing with his life. His life. His life.
You know how serious that is?
A lot of people
are gonna die.
a lot of people were threatening life this week in wrestling. Marcus.
No, he didn't. No one said they were gonna kill each other. He's just playing with his life, Eric. And you know what that means in the black community. You don't be playing about life right now. Yeah. That's like turning on somebody's lights in their house, knowing that they can't afford their electric bill. You motherfucker, you fucking with the wrong person. Just saying.
Or using up their hot water, knowing that their hot water heater only puts out a certain amount of hot water. Wait, why are you using hot water? You don't need hot water. Boil that water. Marcus, Swerve Scott was a man this week, Marcus. We ain't gonna never hear any of them tracks that he's dropping in the studio. But Marcus...
We might. He man did Roman. Well,
if I'm right, isn't that where he recorded? I think Manny called it at one time the boringest podcast on the WWE Network, the Swerve Scott podcast.
It is the most boring podcast ever. And the amount of guests he's had on there, he's had Adam Cole, he's had Tony Storm, he's had Johnny Gargano, he's had various amounts of people on there. He's even had the golden girl of our show, Shotzi Blackheart, on that show. What was it about? Nothing. A load of bullshit.
Oh, wow.
Worst podcast ever.
Marcus, do you have anything to add about Swerve Scott, or you just want to say you were right?
No. Again, I want to shout out to WWE and their production team. They make everybody look like a star in every single interview they do and backstage segment. This was well done. This was well shot. The people in the background, I just could have used more smoke of just people were just smoking weed in the background. Show me the black and miles. Show me the black and miles, the empty bottles of Hennessy.
So, Manny, I don't want to tell you how to produce your show, but I have a suggestion. I know how it used to be the Isaiah Swerve Scott box because, no one cared about Swerve Scott. I think we should rechristen it the QT Marshall box because no one cares about, everybody is the QT Marshall point, and you're going to be put into the QT Marshall box. If I had that technology, I would do it.
That was never the Swerve box. It was just general stuff that Marcus wanted to talk about. That I was like, this show's going to go on for ages if we let Marcus talk about this for a certain point of thing.
Okay, so it's the grand finale box. I get it.
So, well, for one thing, Manny, dude, you do put me in that box. It doesn't save time.
No,
we still go over everything.
The show is destined to be an hour every week, even though we try and get it less than that. Because we can't close the show, it will go on for eternity.
Manny, I have a very important question for you. GYV cut a promo and they called MSK a bunch of knobheads. On the scale of disrespect, what is a knobhead level of disrespect
It's called me calling you a dickhead. That's basically what it is.
Ah.
I'm sorry you didn't pick that up, Eric. But yeah, he called him a dickhead.
You know, what can I say?
It was a very PG way of saying it in America, but yeah.
But Eric, come on now. Shoes off if you hate Gibson.
Yeah.
Shoes off if you hate Gibson. Shoes off.
But see, the thing is,
if you hate
it's
Gibson.
a chant, but they hit a man with a shoe, man. Ciampa had no business hitting Gibson with a shoe.
You do. Fuck him. Fuck them.
I like this segment. I mean, I think it's a good distraction to get you some competitors to go after the tag team champions while MSK try to create their brand. I'm okay with this. But I think the tag match that I was more invested in, that I had no right being invested in, and that was Imperium going against Drake Maverick and Killian Dane. For the simple reason, Drake Maverick pointed out to Killian Dane all the things that were going to go bad. And at the end of the day, I'm watching this match waiting for those things to go bad. And I will say I was slightly disappointed where it didn't happen. But Lester Wolf decided not to attack Killian Dane.
Lester?
Sorry.
Lester!
I don't know.
What old-ass black man is out there? Lester Wolf. Yeah, he also does my taxes. You know who do my taxes? Lester Wolf. You need to go see Lester Wolf on Sunday.
I play dominoes with him. He beats me every week.
Yeah, you know, Lester. You know who I saw go to jail last week? Who went to jail last week? Lester Wolf. Lester Wolf went to jail last week. What he done did? You know, Lester Wolf on them drugs again. You know.
So Lester Wolf, who was Alexander Wolf's brother.
If Lester was in a tag team, his tag team partner would be Winston.
Lester Winston. Marcus, were you invested in that match between Drake Maverick, Killian Dane, and Imperium?
Well, I thought they were going to turn. Somebody's going to turn on somebody eventually, and I like that this is going towards somebody. Manny, I believe this week said Wolf is going to be the one that gets attacked by everybody, and they form American Imperium without him. But he showed sympathy
to take out Killian Dane, and then when they did the pose at the top of the ramp, he stood in front, and then they were like, "Nah, bitch," and then they took the step forward and stood in front of him.
Yeah, he trying to take reins of the leader, but not hitting Dane. That's a recruiting tackle, baby. I can't recruit you if I hit you with a chair. That'd be like Dustin Rhodes trying to recruit Nick Caruso, whatever his name is,
Carano? No, that's Camundo.
That's the guy that got coronavirus. Nick Coronavirus with a chair and saying like, "You want to be a part of my team?" Oh shit, yeah. So you can't do that.
I was having concerns this week that Manny might not make it on this episode because there was an upset that took place at NXT. Zaida Ramir defeated Toni Storm, and she almost killed herself at the same time with her 5-star press. Manny.
5-star press.
I mean, shooting star press. Sorry. I'm tired. I'm sorry. Manny.
QT's got him all messed up.
Will Toni recover from her? Or did you really hate this as much as I thought you hated it?
No, I didn't really hate it because Toni could have gone for the win, but then she went out for murder when she tried to execute her finishing maneuver off the top rope, only to get distracted from behind somehow by Zoe Stark, who I don't believe she could have seen with that level of.
No, she heard her, and she heard her and probably smelt it. Zoe Stark looked like an old lady who wear that stink ass old lady perfume. That she was like, I know I smell that somewhere.
Marcus, don't you sit here, Marcus? Don't you sit here and talk about Lester Wolf's wife, Zoe Stark? Don't you talk about Lester and Zoe been together for a long time, Marcus? Don't you do that?
Still together.
Don't you talk about that? Don't you talk about Lester and Zoe? Damn it!
Perfume smell. She got that old ass perfume smell, and that's how Toni Storm knew she was coming. But I agree. But the number one thing is in that 5-star 450 press, Tope Suicida. I could have swore that girl was gonna break her neck, and I hope she never attempts that move again. Although she landed perfectly, I don't know. My equivalent, Eric. I told this to Manny on the show. It must have been angels in the outfield for her to land that. Solo was flapping.
I mean, I love our boxes are so small. The only people see is our shoulders moving, but we're flapping our wings.
Is that the worst baseball movie of all time?
Man, I love me some Marcus. So
you're about to express love for Angels in the Outfield.
Marcus,
and consider what you're about to say right now.
Marcus, I know what I'm about to say. And what I'm about to say is I'm not going to express love or hate for Angels in the Outfield. But I'm going to tell you something, Marcus. I realize I am a sucker. I am a sucker for baseball movies. I think I can't think of a bad baseball movie. Huh?
This is the worst one. This is the worst one.
That's the worst one.
I don't know. Little Big League is pretty bad, man.
Little Big League at least has baseball strategy in it, and it has logic in there, in which he is now the owner. I don't know if the owners of MLB will allow this to happen.
I feel like
I'm just saying the Angels were cheating in that
Marcus,
outfield.
and that's why I feel
Tony
like
Danza's in that damn movie.
Marcus, Angels in the Outfield and the Sixth Man are a perfect double feature for any type of movie where extraterrestrial creatures are assisting teams win in sports.
They're not aliens.
Well, they're spirits, man. But because Marcus, once again, we're keeping you low. Personality is oozing off the shelf at NXT because we also had Bronson Reed defeating Austin Theory, but there was so much going on in this match, Marcus. I feel like this is what AEW is missing in the TNT championship right here, is that you have justification for people to be fighting. I'm glad Bronson Reed got another win off of Johnny Gargano, but I don't think you can make Johnny lose that title. Am I right, Marcus?
No, Johnny's not losing anytime soon, but Bronson Reed is a good contender, and I think he will be something that needs to be added to Monday Night Raw. I'll take him off of that show right now, add him Monday Night Raw right now. Right now.
Well, they already have a big guy on Monday Night Raw that they're not using, and his name is Keith Lee.
No. They don't fuck with him for the last time. He ain't coming back.
So,
need to stop fucking with me.
Well, speaking of people being fucked with,
it's like you're barking the arena.
Hey, speaking of people being fucked with, Candace and Indy show they ain't the ones to be fucked with because technically, Shotzi Blackheart and Ember Moon got jumped so bad before the match that Aaliyah and Jessie Kamea actually thought that they won the titles. They celebrated like they won the titles. That's how much of an ass whooping took place before the match. And the one thing I learned is that you never get between a woman and her man. And that's what them bitches did. And shout out to Aaliyah and Jessie Kamea finally winning the match. They ain't winning solo. Marcus, you shaking your head in disgust. Go ahead.
That was probably the highlight of NXT, is watching how happy they were to win the women's NXT tag team titles, even though they had no grounds to even claim they did. But as Manny said, the boyhood dream was happening. They were celebrating hard. No common sense.
The best thing was, on Monday, we had Nia Jax get given flowers by Angel Garza, and then she walks down and then throws them at Mandy Rose and says, "Put these in water, bitch." So, you
missed that part. That was a good moment of Raw.
Indy Hartwell had to do one better and then smash a vase or a vase, however you want to pronounce that word, against Shotzi's head, which was incredible. Whilst in the ring, we were getting the celebration of all celebrations.
Celebration!
That's the closest Aaliyah has ever been to any title in her life. And Jessica Biel and Robert Stone, a brand who I believe should just be caught up. Them and Bivens are so entertaining that they have fit main roster so well. It's entertaining.
I'm ready to change because at the beginning of the show I said SmackDown was my favorite show. I can't. NXT was just so much fun. Like, even the main event of the 6-man tag that I didn't want between Kushida teaming up with MSK versus Legado del Fantasma was still a good match with Legado del Fantasma set it up because they want all the gold now. Like, I love that it's about the gold. Everybody wants to take the gold, and that's all that should matter in professional wrestling. Who wants to be the next champion? Marcus, how did you think NXT closed it out? I mean, it couldn't compete with the celebration of Kamea and Aaliyah when they didn't win anything, but come on.
Yeah, no, you can't compete with that. Or even Adam Cole holding people up on an interview and then blaming them for how long the interview is going. But
and then complaining he's hot when he's wearing black in the sun.
yeah, at a pool. Decided to wear
Oh
all
yes,
black
I
at a
forgot
pool,
about.
and then complaining about, hold on 1 minute. Hold on. Yeah, this dude trying to interview me. He taking all day. I don't know why he ain't asking me no questions. You're on the phone. You're clearly on the phone the whole time. But I can't. The big distraction for me is Kushida decided to go back to shoes after 1 week of not wearing it.
His
He
feet
must
hurt,
have stepped on
Marcus.
something and was like, my feet. I don't know how Riddle is doing this.
Riddle gave a phone call. What up, bro? I don't wear shoes.
Gimmick infringement.
Yeah. And then Kushida
You
tried
here for my
to
lawyer, bro.
Kushida tried to explain, but I have tape wrapped around my feet. It don't matter, bro. This is my thing. Because what's next? You're gonna come down to the ring with a scooter? Fuck. You got more personality than QT Marshall. You're better than this. You're better than this, Kushida.
Just for everyone to know that QT Marshall is now living rent free in Eric's head.
He is. He is. But you know what? At least he's doing something of importance because he's inside my head. Because right now he ain't doing shit else.
What's he doing in your head?
Don't worry about that. He's trying to find a personality.
Eric has voices in his head. They talk to me, and it's QT Marshall. Such a dark mentality. You are a psychopath, sir.
Well, no, because QT Marshall's living in my head. It explains. Marcus. Now you guys understand why I get such low views on my shows because of QT Marshall being inside my head. It all makes sense now.
No, don't you blame it on that. QT Marshall's only been living in your head this week.
Yeah. You know who's been living in your head before this? Red color hair.
Oh, and if you haven't checked out the Mortal Kombat review that I clipped earlier in the week, check out the new intro.
Starring Brandon Cutler.
Brandon Cutler, and I've also edited Eric's intro to the show.
It is funny because it goes Eric and then Brandon Cutler, and I'm joined by Brandon Cutler here.
No, there's like I'm. And then it put to Brandon Cutler saying, Eric, Brandon Cutler.
I hate you guys. But anyway, that pretty much concludes the show. I think, like I said, with the exception of Monday Night Raw, I cut Monday Night Raw. And we still talked for an hour and 46 minutes. It's all because Marcus had to have a rant on QT Marshall that it fogged up his glasses.
You had to rant on QT Marshall.
Do you want me to go again?
And then Manny, who abstained, Marcus Manny, who abstained from ranting, had to give a little bit of rant. So, I mean, clearly, fuck QT Marshall.
I didn't want to be left out.
Well, if you
QT Marshall is the Wallace of Michael B. Jordan and needs to be taken out back and killed. Spoiler for The Wire. But where's Wallace?
If you made it this far, we really appreciate you spending all your Saturday morning or evening watching this show and watching us talk about professional wrestling. If you want to help us out, go to storefrontier.com/DSPN.
Don't go there.
Don't go there.
You never help us out.
You know what?
This is how you help.
This is how you help the show out. Just give money to somebody you saw on the freeway, and it might be us. Okay? It might be us, because no one's buying the shirt. No one's supporting the show. We need the money now. So go to your local freeway. Give change to that bum on the street, because it could be any one of us at any given time. And if we're talking about QT Marshall, we're far too gone.
Well, I understand money might be tight for some people, but if you really want to help the show out, another thing that you can do, please like, comment, subscribe. It really helps the numbers. Me, Manny, and Marcus, because we know no one wants to buy shirts. We need sponsors, and we need to have numbers to show sponsors that, hey, we can promote with these guys, which I think would be kind of risky. So we would appreciate that.
We sell like some motherfuckers though. I sell a guy. I can sell
Why you
anything.
gotta sound like a bad pimp, man? Why you gotta sound like
I am a bad pimp? My name is Lester Rule. Pimp extraordinaire.
If you're watching the YouTube feed, that blank space there is for sale. If you want to advertise down there, I will sell that space. This isn't even my show on Saturday, but I will sell that.
Manny's like, I'll sell that motherfucker right there.
Yeah, sell that shit. Look how it's there.
Like, look, like right here. Like, we put the comment. You see how that looks right there? That could be your ad where it says Jake shiny like a fresh shit on a hot summer day. That could be your ad on this show.
on those boxes that say you can subscribe to the channel on the Tuesday and Thursday show, you could have that box for $9.99 a show.
Give us our money.
I don't think we got anything else. I hope you guys really enjoyed this show. And if you didn't, too bad.
Oh, did we ever have a Michael B. Jordan discussion?
No, we did
Are
not.
we going to do that?
No, we're not going to do that. We're not going to do that, Mark.
No, we're going to do it. We're going to do it.
No.
We got to do it. Michael B. Jordan is our modern Denzel Washington, Eric. And you need to accept that. Need to accept it.
No.
By the way, standing to go to show, I hit my standing goal. So,
Manny, why you letting the watch tell you what to do, Manny? Don't let the watch run your life, man.
Don't let the machine control your mind. Let QT Marshall do it. Enjoying his factory.
Hey, Manny, I think QT Marshall's also in Marcus' head too. I'm not alone in this. Manny, you may have to save us. It might be called saving us from QT Marshall.
No, Anthony Ogogo is living in my head.
No, he lives in your stomach. He lives in your stomach. With that being said, I'm Eric.
I'm Lord Manny Hayes.
And I'm Marcus, the grand finale.
And until next week, stay sharp. Peace.